Hello Internet Allies, and welcome back to a little series I like to call the Sorting Hat Challenge. So because the new Pixar movie Coco is coming out very soon in the UK, I thought I'd sort some of the other well-known Pixar characters into what I think that Hogwarts Houses would be. So yeah, here we go. So my very first sorting hat video I ever did, I sorted a few Disney characters into Hogwarts Houses, and in that video I actually did sort 4 Pixar characters into Hogwarts Houses, which were Woody, Dory, Marlin and Mater. I sorted Woody and Dory into Gryffindor and Marlin and Mater into Hufflepuff. However, thinking about it, I'd probably move Marlin over to Gryffindor, because even though he doesn't kind of actively go out there looking for adventure, he's able to sort of overcome his fears and stuff like that, and he is able to be brave in times of need, like, you know, to basically find Nemo. So I'm going to start with sorting my favourite Pixar character into a Hogwarts house, which is Buzz Lightyear, so to infinity and beyond. So I'm going to sort Buzz Lightyear into Gryffindor, and this isn't just because I'm also a Gryffindor, but I do think Buzz Lightyear is very brave, very adventurous, you know, very noble, very loyal to his friends. He's also a bit stubborn and a bit show-offy as well, to be honest. Like in every Toy Story movie there's an adaptation of Buzz Lightyear that he thinks he's like a real space ranger instead of just a toy. I'm actually going to sort Woody and Buzz's owner, Andy, into a Hogwarts house, and I'm going to sort Andy into Ravenclaw because of Andy's very active imagination and, you know, how he kind of gets all the toys to like interact with each other. Like, you know, he's able to like set up like, you know, a whole scene for the toys in absolutely no time at all, as we can see in at the beginning of Toy Story 2, where he like sorts out all the toy soldiers in like less than 5 minutes, which seems kind of impossible, but you know, we go along with it. So next up I'm going to probably sort one of the most obvious choices for a Gryffindor ever, which is Merida. And this is basically because the title of that movie is Brave, and yeah, Merida needs to be brave to basically save her mum from being a bear forever. Yeah, Merida's also good at like standing up for herself, and you know, she wants her life in her own hands. She wants to like make her own choices and everything. She's very stubborn as well, and you know, isn't afraid to show that. So yeah, moving on to One to Think now, and as you can see I'm wearing a Sully fleece, which is really warm and cuddly and cozy, just like Sully himself. However, I am going to sort Sully and also Mike as well into Slytherin. I think Sully, you know, he's not afraid to like break the rules, like to do what he thinks is right and everything. And yeah, and even if that means like, you know, disagreeing with either authority or even his friends. And Mike, you know, he could arguably be Ravenclaw, but I feel like Slytherin suits him better because, you know, of his ambition and leadership, which we see more prominently in Monsters University than in Monsters Inc. However, I would end up putting Boot in Ravenclaw because I think, you know, again, she's quite imaginative, has a good sense of humour, is very curious as well about the monster world. She's interested in what Mike and Sully do, she's interested in learning a lot more about them and getting to know them. Next up is Flick, and I'm going to sort him into Ravenclaw because he is inventive and eccentric. You know, not everybody seems to really understand him. I'm also going to sort Princess Atta into Hogwarts House, and I think she'd be a Hufflepuff because she just wants what's best for her colony and, you know, just kind of wants to impress people as well. I'm going to sort Atta's sister Dot into Gryffindor because, you know, Dot's kind of the only person who like shows unconditional friendship towards Flick, and you know, doesn't really mind that, you know, he's a bit strange and weird and everything. You know, she's also very adventurous with like her scout group. Next up are the Incredibles. So Mr. Incredible first. So I'm going to sort Mr. Incredible into Slytherin. He grabs any opportunity he can to basically become a superhero, even if that means, you know, going behind his family's back or, you know, putting other people in danger. I'm going to sort Mr. Incredible's son, Dash, into a Gryffindor as well. Now, when The Incredibles came out, like, I really identified with Dash. Like, you know, he was very excitable, quite show-offy as well. Even though we don't really know a lot about Jack, you know, he is only a baby and everything, I'm going to sort Jack into Slytherin as well because, yeah, he is quite mysterious and we don't really know what he's going to end up doing with his powers and everything and stuff like that. I mean, we saw his powers like at the very end of The Incredibles, and you know, he's very unpredictable. So next up is Elastigirl, and I'm going to sort Elastigirl into Ravenclaw because, you know, Elastigirl's very wise. She's able to give Dash and Violet good advice when they're in danger towards the end of the movie and everything. And you know, she does like stand up to, you know, her husband Mr. Incredible, like when, yeah, basically he is just kind of going off like doing all this superhero stuff, you know, because basically, you know, it just basically gets him into trouble at the end of the day. I'm just going to sort Violet into Hufflepuff. She just wants to have a normal life and everything, and yeah, she sort of doesn't really like sort of breaking the rules. You know, she is a bit unsure of herself, she's a bit shy and a bit sensitive. I'm going to sort a couple of the supporting characters in The Incredibles actually, and I'm going to sort Edna Mode into Ravenclaw because, you know, she's ended up like making all these superhero outfits. She's ended up like learning from some of her mistakes from like her previous designs with all the no capes thing, you know, she definitely doesn't recommend capes at all because they're just basically more of a hindrance, let's just be honest. So last but not least for The Incredibles, I'm going to sort Frozone, and I'm going to sort him into Gryffindor because even though he does help Mr. Incredible a lot throughout the movie, he's also not afraid to, like, you know, stand up to him and say, hang on, I don't think we should be doing this, or even to his wife, like later on in the movie, which is basically the best scene in any Pixar movie. So next up is Cars, and I'm going to sort Lightning McQueen now into Slytherin. So even though his colours are red and yellow, which are the Gryffindor colours, I feel like Slytherin would be more of a better choice for him because, you know, he is ambitious, you know, he does want to win the Piston Cup. You know, he kind of learns a bit of humility along the way, but I think ultimately, you know, he is kind of trying to like live his dream of being like a world-class race car. So next up, I'm going to sort Remy from Ratatouille into a Hogwarts house, and I'm going to sort him into Slytherin. Now Remy, he's very ambitious, and you know, he just wants to be like a world-class chef. He doesn't mind just like leaving his family behind or running away from his family to actually, you know, achieve his dream. Next up, Wall.E. And I'm going to sort Wall.E into a Ravenclaw because he is a collector, he's very curious about what all these different things do and uses quite a lot of, you know, the things that humans have thrown away. You know, he's really interested in what they do. In Wall.E, he makes a friend with Eve. And I'm going to sort Eve into Hufflepuff. She's there to kind of get a job done. You know, she's there to find, you know, if there's any natural life back on planet Earth after the humans have basically messed it up. Next up is Up. And I'm going to sort Carl from Up into Slytherin because, yeah, he's a little bit shy, but however he's quite ambitious with, like, you know, he's very determined to get to that Paradise Falls and everything and stuff like that, whatever it takes and everything. You know, even if it does mean like breaking a few rules along the way. Along the way he meets two very loyal companions, which are Russell and Doug. And I'm going to sort both of those into Hufflepuff for that reason, because they are very loyal. You know, they have unconditional love and support for Carl. So next up is Inside Out. And in Inside Out you have like 5 main emotions, which are joy, sadness, disgust, anger and fear. Joy and disgust, I'm going to put them both in Slytherin. Joy is, you know, the leader of all of the emotions and everything, and, you know, wants to make sure everything stays in control. And disgust, she's quite clever and everything, so, you know, and quite sarcastic as well towards the other emotions quite naturally and everything. Would anger also be in Slytherin? Yeah, I think anger might also be in Slytherin. He is short-tempered and, you know, jumps to conclusions quite quickly. It can also cause quite a bit of mischief as well. However, both sadness and fear, I'd sort them into Ravenclaw. Because, you know, sadness is quite studious and knowledgeable and everything and stuff like that, like, and basically knows how to get Riley to basically express herself, basically express like her worries and everything. Fear's also very, like, cautious as well, kind of thinks before, he kind of ends up doing things. Last but not least for Inside Out, I'm going to sort Bing Bong into a Hogwarts house, and I'm going to sort him into Hufflepuff because he really cherishes, the time he gets to spend with Riley, and, is also quite, like, selfless with, like, helping Joy and Sadness get back to, like, their emotions headquarters, basically, and stuff like that, even if it does mean, like, kind of putting aside his own wishes. Thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Pixar Sorting Hatch Challenge video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and I want to do like a top 5 favourite Pixar movies after I've watched Coco, so if you want to see that, click on subscribe. Okay, I hope you're having a lovely, lovely, lovely day guys, and until next time, Team Watts blasting off again. Bye bye!